The Right Honourable Member was Foreign Secretary on the 17th of March 2020, when British intelligence reportedly warned against the granting of peerage to the Prime Minister's close friend and now Lord Lebedev of Hampton and Siberia. 48 hours later, the Prime Minister visited Lebedev at his home in London. Details of that meeting have never been released. In July 2020, Lebedev's appointment as peer was announced. So can he tell the House what changed between the security warning and the appointment?
The Honourable Lady knows full well all individuals nominated for a peerage have done so in recognition of what their contribution is to society. I should say that includes those of Russian origin who contribute brilliantly to our nation, many of whom in this country are critics of the Putin regime.
Mr. Speaker, what I do know better is the central duty of any government is to keep the British people safe. There are now widespread reports that the Prime Minister did not accept warnings from our own intelligence services. It shouldn't matter if such a warning was about a close personal friend of the Prime Minister. It shouldn't matter if he gave the Prime Minister thousands of pounds of gifts, and it shouldn't matter how much champagne and caviar he serves. There's no ifs or buts when it comes to the safety of the British people.
The suggestion she's making is sheer nonsense. But if she wants to talk about national security, then I remind her that she and her shadow cabinet colleagues not so long ago wanted the Honourable Member for Islington North.
This week, the Prime Minister has gone cap in hand from one dictator to another on a begging mission to the Saudi prince to bail him out. Mr. Speaker, the government have had 12 years to end their reliance on foreign oil. Their failure has left us all vulnerable, reliant on another murderous dictator to keep the lights on and pumps open.
Well, can I just gently say to the Honourable Lady that when she was campaigning, as the rest of them were, to make the Honourable Member for Islington North Prime Minister, this Prime Minister was Foreign Secretary leading the response to the nerve agent attack.
Hold on. I hate to say it, you can't keep going back for 12 years as a defensive mechanism. What we want to do, I'll decide. I have a lot of people ahead of me who are desperate to get in without talking about history.
Mr. Speaker, there is a war in Europe. There is a fuel energy crisis in Britain. Democracy is at risk. These uncertain times require leadership with integrity, a leader that works with the security services. Instead, Mr. Speaker, we have this sorry excuse of a government sat before us. They hike tax on 27 million working people while the super rich increase their wealth. They watch energy prices rise by over 50% while the companies enjoy profits they didn't even expect. And they cavort with Russian oligarchs in luxury villas while neglecting the security of the British people. And remember, Mr. Speaker, they partied while the country was in lockdown and were unable to see their dying loved ones. Can the Deputy Prime Minister look the British people in the eye and really say this government is doing their best in their interest?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you what this government, this Prime Minister have done. 1,000 Russian individuals sanctioned. We've also shown, Mr. Speaker, the big-hearted spirit of this government and indeed this nation, with the 5,500 visas granted to Ukrainians to come here. While she's in her social media echo chamber, that's what this government is doing.
I'm sure the Deputy Prime Minister will agree with me that when it comes to judging a person, it's often done by the company that they keep. When it comes to tennis, when it comes to tennis, the Prime Minister enjoys the company of and backhanders of Lyubov Chernikin. When it came to celebrating the election victory, the Prime Minister prioritised the party hosted by the former KGB agent Alexander Lebedev. He has a great many others, such as Viktor Fedotov and Alex Temerko as friends. Can he therefore tell us what first attracted the Prime Minister to the billionaire Russian oligarchs?
I wasn't quite sure where he was going at the beginning of his question, but what I can tell him, of course, the Prime Minister is not just a very social individual. He wants this country to be open, outward-looking to the world.
The Prime Minister is visiting Saudi Arabia, and as usual, we are told there will be frank, private discussions with the Saudis on their human rights record. But in the light of the state murder of Jamal Khashoggi, in the light of the brutal executions of 81 men at the weekend, why does the Deputy Prime Minister think that the UK's representations on human rights are so ineffective, and what more will we do to make the Saudis behave ethically?
Can I just say to him, when I was Foreign Secretary and I went to Riyadh twice, and I know the Prime Minister will be raising these issues again, we talked about the women's rights defenders. He says we've been ineffective. They've all been released. He mentions Jamal Khashoggi. We applied, I think we're one of the first to apply, asset freeze and visa bans on those responsible for his murder. So we are an outward, an international country. That is what Britain's role is in the 21st century, but we will never allow our moral red lines to be blurred.